Cyril, I can understand your excitement because South Africa's presidency had been hyping the summit with the themes of solidarity, equality, and sustainability, pushing issues like debt relief, climate adaptation funding, and a just energy transition. You know, the kind of topics the global South considers survival and certain global North players consider optional afterthoughts. Ramaphosa even called the US shift a positive development, reminding the world that the United States, being the biggest economy in the world, needs to be there, as if trying to convince a stubborn relative to show up for Christmas lunch without starting a fight. Meanwhile, in the background, the original US boycott had its own dramatic origin story from the Trump administration, fueled by Trump's repeated claims that South Africa was violently persecuting white Afrikaner farmers, allegations South Africa has denied, pointing instead to broader crime and not targeted racial violence, and the US decision in May to grant refugee status to Afrikaner farmers, which strained ties like a bad WhatsApp family group fight. Then came the G20 agenda drama, with Trump criticizing South Africa's priorities as promoting DEI and climate change, his version of diplomatic swear words, by the way, and brushing them off as anti-American, before announcing the boycott on Truth Social and choosing instead to host the 2026 G20 at his Miami Doral resort with what he called a streamlined economic focus, which in practice usually means fewer things to argue about and more things to sell. Add in the broader tensions, South Africa's ICJ case against Israel over Gaza, the US disapproval, and Trump's view of land reform and affirmative action as discriminatory against white. And the cocktail of grievances was already well shaken before Ramaphosa added his public optimism. He had previously brushed off the potential US absence as their loss, promising the summit would proceed and deliver fundamental decisions which might go down as one of the most stubbornly optimistic lines in African diplomacy. But then Washington responded with the speed of someone who doesn't want to be left out of a group chat argument. The White House called Ramaphosa's remarks fake news, clarifying that only the U.S. chargé d'affaires in Pretoria would attend the handover ceremony at the summit's close, purely to transfer the G20 presidency from South Africa to the U.S., and insisted the U.S. was not joining G20 discussions.